Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be changing units in the customary system. Our objective is that we will all be able to convert between the units of measurement in the customary system using conversion factors. My goal is by the end of this lesson, you will be able to convert this soup recipe in order to answer the question, how many students will this recipe feed if each student eats 16 ounces of soup? Go ahead and record this problem down and see if by the end of the lesson you can figure it out. First, let's take a look at how to make sure your answer is reasonable. If you're going from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, your number should be getting smaller. That's right. So anytime we go from something small like an ounce to a pound, our number goes from 16 to 1. Our number is getting smaller. So what happens if you're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, like tons to pounds? That's right, your number should be getting bigger. So we can make sure our answer is reasonable simply by looking at the units and determining, are we going from bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger? And is my number getting smaller or bigger? Let's look and see what a conversion factor is. So, what is a conversion factor? You've probably seen these numbers, like 1 pound equals 16 ounces, or 1 quart equals 2 pints, on a reference sheet that you refer to when solving problems that involve conversions. A conversion factor is a value that is multiplied by another to make an equivalent expression. Now, you've probably done some work with equivalent expressions before, like when you had to convert a fraction to an equivalent fraction with a different denominator. In this case, if we had to convert 1/2 into fourths, we would have to multiply by 2 over 2, which is a conversion factor. Its value is actually equal to 1, but it helps us to convert to an equivalent fraction. So in our example, converting 3 pounds into ounces, we need to write 3 pounds as an improper fraction first, and then we need to multiply by a conversion factor. Notice that the pounds is on the bottom and the ounces is on top. This allows us to cross out or cross cancel pounds. Now all we have to do is put the equivalent values for these numbers, like 16 ounces, which is equal to 1 pound. The value is actually 1, and it's going to give us an equivalent expression. When we multiply 3 times 16, we get our answer of 48 ounces. Let's do some practice problems. So if we had to convert inches into yards, the first thing we need to do is write it as an improper fraction. And then we need to multiply by our conversion factor. Now, what type of units would you want on the bottom? That's right, inches. We want inches on bottom, and so that we can actually cross cancel the inches and leave us with the other units. Now, most people don't know right offhand how many inches are in a yard, or maybe you already did and you can put inches to yards. But in this case, we're going to actually convert to feet first, and then from feet to yards. So 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. Then we are going to multiply by another conversion factor. What type of units do you think will be on bottom this time? That's right, feet on bottom and yards on top. Feet will cancel out, leaving us with yards. Now, whenever we put the equivalent form, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. At this time, we can actually cross cancel just like when you're multiplying fractions. We could factor a 2 out of the numerator and a 2 out of the denominator. Or if you recognize that 4 was the greatest common factor between 40 and 12, we could factor a 4 out of the numerator and a 4 out of the denominator. Now we multiply across. 10 times 1 times 1, and 3 times 3 gives us 10 ninths, which converts to 1 and 1/9 yards. Let's look at our other example. We'll go a little faster with this one. So we have 72 fluid ounces. Write it as an improper fraction and set up your conversion factor. Okay, what do we want on bottom? Ounces. And if you knew there were 32 ounces in a quart, you could have went straight into quarts. But I'm going to go from ounces to cups first. Now 8 ounces is equal to 1 cup. Again, you might have to refer to your reference sheet. Set up your next conversion factor. We put cups on bottom this time and pints on top. Since there are 2 cups in 1 pint, we will put a 2 next to the cups and a 1 next to the pints. In our final conversion factor, we put pints on bottom and quarts on top. Again, 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. Now we can cross cancel. The ounces will cross cancel, the cups will cross cancel, the pints will cross cancel, and we're left with quarts. When we factor a 2 out of the 72, it leaves us with 36. So I can factor a 2 out of the denominator as well. I'll factor another 2 out of the denominator, and when I take 36 divided by 2, I get 18. I can factor another 2 out of the denominator, in which 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now, multiply across. 9 times 1 equals 9, and 4 times 1 equals 4. So we have 9/4 once again. Or, again, 2 1/4 quarts. So if we're going from cups to fluid ounces, now we can do it the same way. Even though we have a mixed number, we'll still write it over 1 and set up our conversion factor. We want cups on bottom and ounces on top. The cups will cancel out, and when we put the equivalent values, 8 ounces equals 1 cup. And now all we have to do is multiply across. So we have 2 1/4 times 8. First, we need to convert the 2 1/4 into an improper fraction. Also, convert 8 into an improper fraction. Cross cancel, and we can clearly see here that the 8 and 4 will actually cross cancel, leaving us with our answer 9 times 2, which is 18 ounces. On our other example, 4 1/2 cups, we convert to an improper fraction, set up our conversion factor again. 2 cups equals 1 pint, and if we can't cross cancel, we simply multiply across. 9 times 1 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4, and cups will cross cancel, leaving us with our answer 9/4, which is equal to 2 1/4 pints. Now, go back to that problem you wrote down in the beginning, the soup problem. How many people could that recipe feed? Let's check it out. Here are your conversion factors. 3 gallons is actually 384 ounces. 1 1/4 pounds of noodles is actually 20 ounces. 2 1/4 pounds of meat is 40 ounces. 3 pints equals 48 ounces. 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces. 2 ounces of chili, that's already in ounces. And we have 2 ounces of salt and pepper when you combine them. That gives us a grand total, which can be divided by 16 to give you 31.5. So it can feed 31 students. Well, I hope this helped you out with understanding conversion factors and converting in the customary system. See ya.